everyone, this is Rabbitearsblog, and welcome to another TV episode review series. So today's TV episode review is going to be on the 5th episode of the Inhumans, Something Inhuman This Way Comes. And before I get into my thoughts about this episode, I would like to remind everyone that new videos will be posted up every Sunday. It could be Sunday morning, Sunday night, or Sunday evening, depending on when I can get the videos posted up. And if you happen to see any videos posted up during the week, that must mean that there was a bit of special TV shows or movie news that was reported during the week that I wanted to cover. So those will be considered special videos. But new videos will be posted up every Sunday, and every Monday I will have the TV episode roundup videos where I go over all the episodes I review for the week, and I listen from worst pick of the week to best pick of the week. And those will be posted every Monday. So now let's get into this episode, Something Inhuman This Way Comes. So what happens in this episode is that it's basically a Karnak-focused episode. Like, we see Karnak trying to escape from the drug cartel and how he's trying to protect this human girl he ends up falling in love with. And then meanwhile, we see that Black Bolt and Medusa finally reunited with each other, and they go with Luis to find the other humans who are trapped on the planet. And then we also see Crystal's side of the story, where she starts interacting with this young boy who starts teaching Crystal, you know, you can't fear humans all the time. You know, you should learn to start trusting people a lot more. And that's pretty much the plot line of this episode. It's just the warrior human characters, excuse me, trying to find each other on the Hawaiian island. So what are my thoughts about this episode? I actually thought this episode was a huge improvement over the previous episodes. Like, out of all the episodes of the Inhumans I've seen so far, this was like one of the better episodes I've seen so far, because there's a lot of character focus. There's a lot of focus on the characters, and I think this is a really good episode for Karnak. Like, we get to see, I think out of all the human characters, the most well-developed character of the Inhumans is Karnak himself. And we see that Karnak is still struggling with trying to figure out what happened to his powers, and then we see him bonding with this human girl, and this human girl starts teaching Karnak, you know, you don't have to be cautious all the time, and, you know, you should learn to take chances, even though you're always cautious about everything. And I really like the bonding between those the human girl and Karnak. And I think their storyline was like the highlight of this episode, because there's so much character development, and it made Karnak into a much more likable character in this episode. Because in the pilot episode, out of all the human characters I didn't like the most, it was Karnak. But this episode really made me like Karnak a lot. And we get to see his struggles about trying to master his powers, or trying to figure out what happened to his powers, and his relationship with the human girl. And then we see some moments with Crystal in this episode. I still think they could have done more with Crystal in this episode, but I'll go over that in the cons section. But yeah, we see a little bit of moments with Crystal and the human boy too, but and they were cute moments, and I hope that later episodes play that up a lot more, like play up Crystal's like desire, or we get to see how sheltered Crystal is, and we see that she doesn't trust humans because that's how she was raised, to not trust humans, and then we see her slowly trying to trust humans. So I like to see how Crystal's character arc unfolds in future episodes. Now here's some cons with this episode. Even though I felt like Karnak had a really good development in this episode, I felt like the other human characters are still underdeveloped. Like, we don't get enough time spent on Crystal, or Black Bolt, or a Medusa, or Gorgon himself. Like, I felt like Gorgon in this episode barely made an appearance until the very end. And I'm hoping future episodes will have a character arc for Gorgon, and see how he's trying to develop it to a character as well. And I still feel like Black Bolt and Medusa are still like unlikable characters. Well, I wouldn't say that I hate them as much as I did in the pilot episode, but I still think there's a lot more they could have done with their characters, and I still feel like, you know, they're still a little stiff with their characterizations. And I'm hoping later episodes really develop both Black Bolt and Medusa as better characters in the later episodes. But overall, I gave this episode a 4.25 stars. Shock! You know why this is shock? Because for a long time, the Inhumans has been this one show on my pull list that's like my TV show list that's like been staggering a lot. And I felt like this was the strongest episode because there's a lot of good character moments. The pacing is actually well done in this episode. Like, I was actually sitting on the edge of my seat trying to figure out where these characters are going to go at this point. So I think this episode is a huge improvement over the previous episodes, and I'm hoping that later episodes take notice of this episode itself. Like, try to see how well they should pace itself and how well they should develop the characters, and if the show continues going in this direction, I think it could be a really good show in the long run. So now we only got like I believe 2 or 3 more episodes left until this season wraps up, because there's supposed to only be 8 episodes this season, which is surprising. But yeah, I can't wait to see how this season wraps up, and where would the show go from there. So as long as the show keeps going at this pacing, I think it's going to be a really good show in the end. So I gave this episode 4.25 stars, and that's my review on the recent Inhumans episode. And have you seen this recent Inhumans episode? Do you think it was way better than the previous episodes? Do you still think that the show still needs a lot of work to be done to be a great show? Please feel free to comment below, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter so I can keep you updated on any new videos I post up. And also, like my Facebook page, Rabbitearsblog's Best Comments. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Rabbitearsblog, and I'll see you later.